Long ago, in a land far from Egypt, there lived a man named Moses. This place was called Midian, a wide and open desert land with rocky hills and quiet valleys. It was a place where shepherds led their flocks across the landscape, searching for green pastures and sources of water. Life moved slowly and peacefully in this ancient world. At this time, Moses' own people, the Israelites, were living in a different land, the powerful kingdom of Egypt. They had been there for a very long time, working for the rulers of Egypt. Their lives were difficult, filled with labor. Moses, though he lived in Midian, knew of his people's situation, as he himself had grown up in Egypt before coming to this quiet desert. Moses was a shepherd. His days were spent guiding his sheep and goats, ensuring they were well fed and safe. He would lead them across the wilderness, finding the best spots for grazing and making sure they had enough to drink. He was a thoughtful man, accustomed to the quiet solitude of the desert, where he watched over his flock with care and diligence. For many years, Moses followed this familiar rhythm. He would take his flock to the same places, observe the same skies, and enjoy the steady, unchanging routine of a shepherd's life. The world felt stable and predictable to him, marked by the rising and setting sun, the gentle bleating of his animals, and the vast, silent expanse of the desert around him. This was his normal, peaceful existence. One day, while leading his sheep to a distant part of the desert, Moses came near a special mountain, sometimes called Horeb. There, he saw something very unusual. A bush was burning with fire, but strangely, the flames did not burn up the bush itself. It kept burning and burning, but the leaves and branches stayed green. This sight was so out of the ordinary that it immediately caught Moses' attention. He wondered how such a thing could be. As he drew closer to look, a voice spoke to him from the middle of the bush. It was God, revealing himself to Moses in a clear and direct way. The voice from the bush told Moses to come no closer for a moment. It explained that the ground where he stood was holy. So, Moses carefully took off his sandals, showing respect for the sacred place. He also covered his face, feeling a deep sense of reverence and awe in the presence of God. He listened intently, understanding that this was a moment of profound importance. Then, God told Moses about his plan. He said he had seen the suffering of the Israelite people in Egypt and had heard their cries. God said that he would send Moses back to Egypt to bring the Israelites out of their difficult work and lead them to a good land. This task felt enormous to Moses. He expressed his doubts, asking, "Who am I to do such a thing?" He felt unsure and small compared to the greatness of this mission. This was a significant difficulty, as Moses wondered if he was capable of such a grand undertaking. At this point, the situation shifted. God reassured Moses, telling him not to worry. He promised, "I will be with you." God then gave Moses specific instructions and signs to help him. He told Moses what to say to the people and to the ruler of Egypt. This divine promise and clear guidance marked the turning point, as Moses began to understand that this was not just a suggestion, but a mission from God, and he would not be alone. With God's assurances, Moses received further instructions and understanding. He learned that his role was crucial, and his questions were met with explanations. He understood that he had been chosen for a very specific and important purpose. The message became clear. His calling truly mattered. He was now equipped with a clear direction and a sense of divine backing for the task ahead. From that day on, Moses' life began to change. Although he still felt the weight of the task, he started to prepare for his journey back to Egypt. He said goodbye to his life as a shepherd and set out on the path God had laid before him. This moment was the beginning of his new role, moving from a quiet life in the desert to a much larger purpose, step by step. This story teaches us a simple but important lesson. Sometimes, even ordinary people can be called to do very important things. When a task seems too big or difficult, help and guidance can come in unexpected ways. Listening carefully to what is asked of us, and trusting in support, can help us find our purpose and courage. Moses then began his long journey from the desert of Midian back to Egypt. With the divine instructions and promises in his heart, he set out towards an unknown future, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The quiet desert morning gave way to the beginning of a grand adventure, as his mission truly commenced.